Everybody, welcome to Matt's Metal Show. Got some Scooby-Doo going on here. Woo! Today we're going to do something different that, it's not really different because everybody's fucking done it, but going on YouTube, watching a little fucking this and that and discovering new people and stuff on there. And so there was this thing that started a couple months ago, and it was like the top 10 terrible albums that aren't Saint Anger. And it started over in Europe, in the UK, and then it's kind of trickled over here. I know Darcy Six Strings did it. That was a pretty good one. So I figured I would lend my hand to the top terrible albums that aren't Saint Anger. So I went through and I found a bunch. So I decided I'm going to do the obvious ones, and then I'm going to do the not so obvious ones. This is all my opinion. I know there's going to be people out there like, what the fuck are you talking about? But hey, music is subjective. We all hear shit different. We all love certain shit, and we all fucking hate certain shit. But I watched a bunch of shows, and some of them were surprising. A lot of those guys, though, especially over in Europe and England and shit like that, they pick bands that I wouldn't listen to anyway, so it's kind of wasted on me. I kind of stayed within the hard rock metal genre mostly. There's a couple of odd picks here and there that I just kind of threw on because I was like, God, I gotta fucking put that album. These are just albums that just never fucking worked for me, or albums that I put on and I'm just like, I own all these fucking albums, every fucking one of them. A lot of people too will say well, I don't really own any bad albums in my discography. Yes, you fucking do. In my opinion, you do. But it's my opinion. So just opening a dialogue of what you love and what you don't love. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to comment. I will not come at you like that douchebag Brendan Schneider and fucking, dude, if some of these albums are your favorite fucking albums of all time, fuck yeah! I'm not saying any of these are terrible albums. I will. But if you love them, fuck yeah, put it in the comments oh, dude, I fucking love that album. I love fucking Saint Anger. It's my favorite fucking album. I don't know why everybody makes fun of it. I will preface this with saying, Saint Anger's, that's, we all know, if you've ever watched my channel, that's my fucking Blarney Stone for fucking shitty albums. And maybe one day I'll actually put it on and I'll go track by track and tell you why it's fucking garbage, but not today. Today, it's not about Saint Anger. It's about everything else. So, but Saint Anger is one of those albums where it's almost unlistenable. And I watched a guy and he said, it's like fucking torture. Well, some of these albums are the same way for me. And some of them for one reason or another, and I'll go into them. But I picked 16 obvious fucking albums that are just shit, in my opinion, and then I picked 18 albums that are not so fucking obvious. Some of you on the not so obvious one might be like, what? But yeah, and I even put some of my favorite bands on here too. So just to fucking, I put a David Bowie fucking album on here. I put a fucking Rush album on here. So I put a fucking Pink Floyd album on here on my not so obvious section. So that's where we're going. So let's fucking start it off. We'll start off with the obvious shit. I'm going to go 2011 and we're going to go Lulu from fucking Metallica. Metallica has two albums. Saint Anger and then this fucking pile of shit that they recorded with Lou Reed in 2011. And it's called Lulu. And it's fucking terrible. And I would say to you that you think Saint Anger is fucking terrible? Pop this motherfucker on. I have never listened to the entire album. Never. It's like a fucking 2-disc set. It's fucking 98 minutes long or some shit. Talk about one, a waste of money and a waste of everybody's fucking time. This album has sold like 16,000 copies in the 10 fucking years that it's came out. So, wow. 1,600 copies a year. I don't know what the production cost on this, but it's got to be in the fucking millions probably. And this, what a fucking waste. But, Metallica thought, oh, Lou Reed, everybody talks about Lou Reed like he's so wonderful. Let's go fucking make an album with him. They did. It was fucking garbage. Lou Reed received death threats from Metallica fans, and they said, if you ever fucking record anything with Metallica again, we'll fucking hunt you down and kill you. Of course, Lou Reed's fucking dead now, so it doesn't really matter. So that's my first one. Number 2 on the obvious list is Generation Swine, 1997 Motley Crue. And this is my other album that I fucking beat like a harp seal. This is a John Corabi album with Vince Neil singing on it. And Nikki Sixx. Nikki Sixx fucking sings on the album. Tommy Lee fucking sings on this album. This album was already in the works when fucking Electric Records said, hey, if you don't go get fucking Vince back in the fucking band, we're going to shit can you. And so they did. But unfortunately, all the songs were already kind of written, and they're fucking garbage. This album is fucking terrible. There's a couple of moments that I don't mind, like find myself afraid. I don't mind that. But overall, go listen to fucking Rocket Ship and listen to fucking Nikki Sixx. He just sings like this, coming right on my rocket ship. It's fucking terrible. And then listen to the fucking album ender with fucking Brandon, with fucking Tommy Lee singing about his fucking douchebag son. I mean, he wasn't a douchebag back in 97. He was just a little kid. Now he's a fucking douchebag just like his dad. Fuck yeah. That's number 2 on the list. Ugh. Fucking terrible. I've heard people fucking, defend this fucking album, including Nikki Sixx. This album is fucking garbage. So that's number 2. Number 3, Van Halen 3 from 1998 with Gary Sharon. There's a couple of songs on that I don't mind, but overall, this was a bad decision. Michael Anthony didn't really play on the album that much. I think he played on 3 fucking songs. I think Eddie Van Halen was in a good headspace when they fucking did this. I think he jumped on Gary because Gary was like, I could sing, and he can. Fuck it, let's do an album. It's a fucking choppy album. Album ends with Eddie singing a song and playing piano. Ugh. I never put this fucking album on. Ever. Van Halen 3. Number 4, I'm going to go Iron Maiden, No Prayer for the Dying. Heard people fucking defend this album. First album, 1990 with Gears. After Seven Son of a Seven Son, Adrian Smith bailed the fuck out of the band. So they stripped down and they recorded this in like Steve Harris's barn or some shit, and wherever the fuck he has his barn in fucking England on his farm. No Prayer for the Fucking Dying. There's a couple of spots on here where I almost wanted to love it. Mother Russia, Run Silent, Run Deep, The Assassin. I kind of wanted to love some of this shit. But overall, man, what a fucking terrible album this is. I just fucking hate it. Every time I put it on, which is not fucking often, like Fate's Warning's kind of okay, but dude, it gets to Hooks in You, which is the dumbest fucking Iron Maiden song, and I would probably include the Blaze Bayley shit. This is fucking terrible. Hooks in You is fucking garbage. And then it goes into Bring Your Daughter to the Slaughter, which we all know is a Bruce fucking Dickinson solo album song, and then Steve Harris was like, dude, let's fucking put that on an Iron Maiden album. Good job, Steve. This fucking album is fucking terrible. So, that's number 4. Number 5, I'm going to go W.A.S.P. El Dorado from 99. And I just did my W.A.S.P. discography not too long ago. Eldorado is one of those albums. It's right after Kill Fuck Die, where they decided to like go back to the original sound of Wasp, and ditch the industrial shit. Because Kill Fuck Die wasn't. I mean, I guess that by this point they're just grasping at straws, trying to see if like they can maybe have some of the success they had in the mid '80s. But that's never gonna fucking happen, and that was never gonna happen. For Wasp's time was done. But so they go back and they strip down the sound, and Chris Holmes is still in the band from Kill Fuck Die because he's still fucking wasted, so he doesn't know where the fuck he is. So this album is fucking garbage, man. It just Don't Cry, Just Suck, Dirty Balls, Cocaine Cowboys. There's a couple of spots on here where it's like okay, but most of it's just fucking garbage. Fucking sounds terrible. So that's my number 5, Wasp, Eldorado. This will piss people off, but I don't give a fuck, because that's what this whole thing's about, right? Is like putting your opinion out there and talking about some of these albums that you just fucking loathe. I'm going to go 2013, and I'm going to go Black Sabbath 13. And I know people are going to go, what? The fucking reunion album with Ozzy? Oh my god, yes. It's fucking boring as fuck. Boring as fuck. Now, one thing, Bill Ward's not on the fucking album, so fuck you, Black Sabbath. You know, the guy, Brad Wilk is playing on it for fucking Rage Against the Machine. You couldn't fucking get your shit together. You guys couldn't be fucking nice enough to each other to just fucking record a fucking album. Rick Rubin produced, don't mind it. I usually hate Rick Rubin, but I don't mind him here. He didn't make the album sound shitty. They did. This album was recorded like piecemeal. Like Tony Iommi's back in England and Ozzy and Geezer live in LA. So, you know, they would just kind of do their parts and then mail them to Rick Rubin, and then he threw it all together. And this album, and I know this is funny to say, but this is like so fucking doomy. Black Sabbath, it's just so fucking boring. I put this on, I get, you know, I always wanted to like it because I'm like, oh, dude, you know, but fuck, I put this album on, and I get to fucking God Is Dead, ? And then I put something else on. I need a fucking antidepressant after I fucking listen to this album. Jesus, it's just so fucking ponderous. Once again, we're going to stay in the vein of obvious albums. I know that might not be obvious to some people, but it's very fucking obvious to me. So, Black Sabbath 13, the final Black Sabbath album. Ugh, thank God. That's where you listen to it and you're just like, thank God there's going to be no more. I know that's blasphemy for some people, but not for me. I've been listening to Sabbath since I was a fucking infant. But this album was, if you put this in like not even close to anything of their good shit, and then just they're old and tired, and they think just because you can go and Ozzy's overproduced fucking electronic vocals. No thanks. Anyways, the next album I'm going to cover, I don't know why I'm numbering these because I didn't number them, so I don't give a fuck. Unmasked from 1980 from Kiss. And I covered it in my fucking Kiss discography ranking that I did. I remember when I was a kid, I was like 10 or 11 when this came out, and then my buddy George was this huge fucking Kiss fan. So I used to go over to his house, and he had Kiss all over his fucking room and shit. But I remember looking at this album, because he had all the albums. He had this little rack with all his fucking albums. And I used to just trip on the Kiss albums. But I would get to this one, and I thought, wow, this is the worst cover I've ever seen in my life. It was that comic book cover. It was fucking terrible. Never really listened to it. And then years later, of course, when I grew up, I popped that bad boy on. Some people fucking defend this album because it's got two sides of a coin. It's got Torpedo Girl on it from Ace. Obviously, Ace was kind of bored at this point. So he was, you know, putting some stuff in here. But this album is fucking terrible. I don't mind listening to it from a certain standpoint, but overall, it's like what it should be and what it is, it's fucking not good. Shandy. I just get to Shandy and I want to fucking kill myself. Ugh. So just cheesy bullshit. This is such a bullshit album. And it's funny because I just watched an interview where Paul Stanley was talking about the Elder, and he really hates the Elder. And so does Gene. And I don't, because that was kind of the first Kiss album that I really listened to in '81 was fucking the Elder. But he said it wasn't honest. Gene said it wasn't honest. And Paul said they didn't know how to rock anymore, that they were just gumming the music. Listen to this motherfucker talk about gumming the music. It's just this fucking terrible production. Just, Anton Fig plays on it. Peter Criss is in the wind, but he's on the cover. So, yeah, Unmasked is fucking terrible. In a long line, I mean, most people could say, oh, when you're going to pick a bad Kiss album, just fucking throw a dart, because obviously some of the Crazy Nights and shit like that people hate. But at least Crazy Nights was cohesive enough to where, well, it kind of all worked together, at least on that album. This album's got some fucking disco, some pop, some rockers. It's fucking all over the place. It's like a fucking snapshot of schizophrenia. You're just like, what the fuck? I know Def Leppard. I'm going to go Def Leppard, my next one. I know Def Leppard's like people's punching bag for the last whatever many years. I don't really hate Def Leppard as much as everybody else does, apparently. I've seen so many shows where they're just like, fucking Def Leppard. Even Ronnie Dio, I remember seeing that interview where he was making fun of Vivian for getting into fucking Def Leppard. And there's a reason why. And if you go Def Leppard fucking slang from 1996, it's really the first album with Vivian Campbell in the band. It's been, 5 years since fucking Steve Clark died. And like, so you're thinking like, oh, Vivian Campbell's in the band. Oh, this is going to be a fucking rocking album because, Viv's such a rocker. And then I just listened to this for the first time this morning because I've owned this album forever. I just never fucking really listened to it. Apparently, like, Joe Elliott's like beating up his wife, so he gets arrested. Apparently, one-armed fucking Rick Allen is beating up his wife, and he got arrested. Phil Collen is going through, Phil Collen. I hate saying Phil Collen because I think it's Collen. I don't know. I met him. He's nice. Nicest fucking dude in the world. He's going through a divorce. There's all this fucking shit going on around this fucking album. Rick Savage, his dad died. There's all this shit going on around this album. But, you're expecting like, well, Vivian Campbell's coming in the band. He didn't really do shit for Whitesnake. He was just a hired gun. But like in Dio, he was good to great in Dio. So you're thinking like, oh, fuck, man, they got Viv's more of a lead player. So how's this going to work out? Because Steve Clark was, he did some leads and stuff, but he was more of that solid rhythm fucking player for them. Where like Phil Collen was like more of the lead guy kind of, and he's a phenomenal fucking guitar player. Like the funny thing about Def Leppard is like you look at Phil Collen, and we've always looked at him as kind of the replacement for Pete Willis because we were kids when Def Leppard came out. Like he's the new kid. Dude, that guy, he's a great fucking guitar player. He's fucking amazing. He might not show it on fucking Def Leppard albums, but Adrian Smith might not show it that much on Iron Maiden albums, and he's a fucking phenomenal guitar player. It's funny when you see these guys outside of their bands, and you're like, and the first time I saw Phil Collen like fucking shredding and fucking playing fucking crazy shit, I was like, God, he must be sleeping in fucking Def Leppard. So now you got these two guys in there, Vivian and fucking Phil, and you're thinking like, dude, this is going to be all over the fucking place. This album is fucking bullshit. It's boring as shit. There's about 800 fucking ballads on here. The only thing I will say that's cool about it is the lyrics are pretty fucking dark. There's some fucked up shit on here because they were all in misery. The only song that I kind of thought was cool because it had this weird kind of like Arabic kind of feel to it was Truth to Dust or Turn to Dust. It has kind of like wing, 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 wing. Other than that, this album is fucking terrible. Fucking awful. All right. Poor Judas Priest. I love Judas Priest. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. They really are. And typically, I could say without a doubt, I would never bash on Judas Priest. And I'm not really totally bashing on them, but one of the obvious albums that everybody fucking seems to hate, mostly 98% of the time, is fucking Nostradamus from 2008. It's the last album with KK Downing. This was a double concept album, kind of brought to them by their manager. And then I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, but they were like, yeah, let's fucking do this. They just come off with fucking Angel of Retribution. Rob's back in the band. They're getting some momentum. Let's do a fucking concept album about fucking Nostradamus. A lot of people fucking hate this fucking album. That's why it's on my obvious list. I don't fucking hate it, but I never fucking listen to this album because it's just fuck, dude. It's like 3 hours long. It's not 3 hours, but it's long as fuck. It's not really memorable. I mean, there's some great parts in it, but overall, it's like it's Judas Priest. You want a 2 to 3 minute fucking memorable song. You don't want to do fucking Loch Ness. Did you guys not learn anything off of fucking Angel of Retribution, apparently, where you fucking threw the fucking Loch Ness song on there and lasted forever? Are you Iron Maiden? Oh, yeah. Kind of a head scratcher there. But, you know, their manager was like, yeah, you should do this album with Nostradamus. It's fucking awesome. And you're like, oh my God, fuck no. Like I said, people fucking hate this album. I probably don't hate it for the reason that they hate it. I don't hate any Judas Priest album, but I fucking never listened to that album. Ever. Next is going to be Rat, and it's going to be Detonators. It's like kind of ringing in the fucking death of, well, not for a couple of years, but this is the last album that Robin Crosby would be on. He didn't have a whole fuck ton to do with this. I think he only co-wrote 2 songs. I've seen people like go, oh, dude, Detonator is so good. This fucking album is fucking garbage. I mean, it has Shame, 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 and it has Lovin' You's a Dirty Job on it. They're fucking Rat singles that meld in with all the last 20 fucking Rat singles that came out. This album didn't do shit. I think it was produced by Desmond Fucktard Child. Fuck, man, there's not a memorable fucking song on here. This is just Rat falling apart. They're all coked out of their skulls, and Robin Crosby, you know, he's all fucked up. At this point, I don't think he had AIDS, but he might have. But he was fucked up on drugs and alcohol. He was just like a fucking shadow of what he used to be. This album is fucking terrible. I love seeing people that are like praise this album. No, he makes me smile. You're just like, what are you fucking thinking? But anyways, yeah, Detonator, fucking Rat from 1990. The only cool thing that came from this, and it wasn't even that cool, was Michael Schenker joined fucking Rat. You know, watch the MTV Unplugged where he's. Is that Michael Schenker? They even did Dr. Doctor live in their fucking live show. That's fucking crazy. Michael Schenker, Rat. You think that's on his resume? Oh, man. What's the next one? We're going to go UFO. Everybody hates this fucking album. I hate it, too. It's not fucking good. There's a lot of UFO albums that you could be like, that album wasn't good. Especially after Schenker left. That first run of albums was fucking amazing. There were some albums in between that were still fucking amazing or pretty good. Mark Chapman days, right? Even the later years, like Sharks and fucking Covenant. There's cool songs on there, but it's not Walk on Water. But Misdemeanor from 1985. And they get Atomic Tommy M in the band, right? This album, I put it on today. I was listening to it. First of all, the production is wow. It's like they recorded it in their car on the way to the studio, and then just um, the Once Mighty UFO. This is where they were at in 1985. It's just fucking not good. There's a couple of decent songs on here. Mean Streets, maybe. I don't know. It's fucking terrible. I mean, if you compare this to what came before, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Fucking UFO Misdemeanor from 1985. Oh, all right. We're gonna go a little offbeat here just for a second. I was doing my Led Zeppelin show not too long ago, and I downloaded that No Quarter album because I had never heard it because I'd never had any fucking interest in fucking Plant and Page after Zeppelin. And I will tell you, I got some, I remember the fucking Robert Plant shit from when I was a kid, like Pictures at 11, Big Log, so I actually downloaded a couple of those albums too, and Pictures at 11 wasn't awesome, but the next album, it was really fucking good. But anyways, I got the No Quarter stuff, and I was telling Matt, the Metal God, my buddy, I was like, fuck, dude, that's really good. And he was like, oh, I'm glad you discovered that because it's a fucking great album. And it was a live show where they did it with the Moroccan band. They did it with the Egyptian orchestra, and it was kind of cool. So I saw, because I wasn't even aware, and Jimmy Page and Robert Plant came out with an album called Walking into Clarksdale in 1998. So I got that too because I was like, well, fuck. Clarksdale is in what? Mississippi, right? Mississippi? It's one of the fucking southern states. I don't really give a fuck. Clarksdale is where the crossroads are, where Robert Johnson sold his soul, right? The mythos of fucking Robert Johnson. They don't even know where. I think they finally figured out where the fuck he's buried. It was like one of 20 graveyards, But walking into Clarksdale, yeah. We all know, Robert Plant loves fucking blues shit, and so does fucking Jimmy Page. They stole enough fucking blues songs in the early days of Zeppelin, even in the latter days of Zeppelin. They outright stole enough, Willie Dixon songs and fucking Blind Willie fucking whatever, for them to do this album. I will tell you, I got it, and I think I finally got to Most High, which is the 6th song, and I was like, that song's cool. This album's just fucking boring. I'm not a big giant blues fan, so it's kind of like, I wanted to put Gary Moore on here, because like when Gary Moore switched straight to the blues, man, he fucking lost me, because it's like, yeah, dude, you're a great player, but I don't like fucking just listening to the blues for like a whole fucking album. It's like, it's cool if you throw on a song here and there like Zeppelin did. But dude, when you just let's go listen to that slide guitar solo for 10 minutes. I almost put Gary Moore on here, but I was like, no. There's too many albums to pick that I would fucking say. But they're not terrible. They're just fucking not what I love. But this album, it's fucking snooze fest, dude. It's fucking snoozable. Here's another one of my albums that is on the obvious albums that I just fucking was like, Strange Highways from 1993. Ronnie James Dio and Company. It's got Tracy G on this album. Yeah. This album, I never tried to love it because by this time I didn't give a fuck about Dio until later on. Jesus, Mary, and the Holy Ghost is probably this one song I could say on this album that is decent. The rest of it, fuck, it's just like the Sabbath album. It's just so dark and angry and pissed off at the world and not in a good way. It's dreary, sludgy. And Tracy G is, his fucking guitar playing makes me want to fucking just... He's all, he's trying to be obnoxious. Terrible. I fucking hate this album. I popped it on for when I did my Dio albums ranked, and I think it was pretty fucking low on that list. I think the only thing under it was the Elf albums, just because I don't really listen to them. All right, the next one. This is a pretty obvious one too, because a lot of people fucking hate this album. I'm gonna go Blue Oyster Cult, and I'm gonna go 1988 Imaginos, which is a weird fucking album because it's like Blue Oyster Cult wasn't even. I don't even think they were a band at this point. I mean, it's fucking all over the place. So their drummer wrote this fucking shit, and he wasn't even in the fucking band anymore. But then the record company and their manager, Sandy, whatever the fuck his name is, they decided, let's come out with this fucking album. So the guys in the band actually went in and recorded some of this fucking shit. It's got like Astronomy, which is a fucking redo from what? It's from fucking Secret Treaties, right? From 74. Yeah. 14 years later, let's put Astronomy back on the album. This album's all over the fucking place. It's supposed to be all doomy and weird and about Imaginos. Apparently, the dude's... I can't remember his fucking name right now because I'm not this huge fucking Blue Oyster Cult fan. I always kind of looked at Blue Oyster Cult as a bunch of band geek fucking guys with a bunch of people writing their songs. Because, dude, they didn't write... Most of the lyrics they didn't write. They had all these outside hands, Patti Smith and all these fucking... Some author guy who wrote sword and sorcery shit. And so all their songs where they were dark and mysterious and supposedly evil. I never got the vibe that these guys were evil. I mean, they had a song called Godzilla, for Christ's sakes. They're like great musicians, but I don't know why they couldn't write their own fucking lyrics. So they've always kind of had all these outside hands in them, and I think that's kind of what kept me from. Plus, they were never like, even when they were at their heaviest, the production on their albums was not awesome, so they did not sound heavy at all. But yeah, Blue Oyster Cult. But they do have albums that I love: Fire of Unknown Origins, Pocket Spectre, Secret Treaties, Tyranny Mutation, Cultosaurus Rex. Almost could go on this album. Mirrors. On this album listing. Mirrors. That was a fucking terrible album too, so put that in, slide that in. Mirrors from fucking Blue Oyster Cult. Right before Cultosaurus Rex. Erectus, right? Yeah, 79. Ooh, that was a fucking terrible album. What's next? We got Skid Row, fucking Subhuman Race from fucking 1995. Anybody ever heard this pile of shit? I was a huge Skid Row fan. I know that's funny to say. That Sebastian Bach's been out of the band for a fucking 1,000 years. But their first two albums, especially their debut, were fucking great, man. I fucking love a bunch of songs out there. They were fucking, kind of hair metal, kind of whatever. But still, those first two albums are really good. Slave to the Grind. You can't be king of the world unless you're a slave to the grind. And Sweet, what was the fucking song? Sweet Little Sister, right? Mama killer, if she knew what she'd do, she's my sweet little sister. Yeah, Sweet Little Sister, fucking great. Live, Big Guns, Youth Gone Wild, Jesus. But dude, you get to Subhuman Race, and when did fucking Slave to the Grind, and then you got Subhuman Race, dude. I don't know what the fuck this. I remember buying this album and putting it on and taking it out, and it's like a hardcore, it's like, is this Skid Row? Because Skid Row wrote like poppy rock metal songs. They were kind of angry. They had some angry shit, You say it's raining, but you're pissing down my back, so don't read me the Riot Act. They kind of had attitude, and then what the fuck? Bach Sebastian Bach just sounds like shit on this album. This album is not produced well, and it's fucking just terrible. I remember, like, My Enemy. I remember trying to love this album, and it was like trying to love a fucking lump of shit. It really was. It was ugh. Subhuman race. And then after this, fucking, Sebastian Bach would leave, and then he would forever be riding on the coattails of, singing all his old fucking songs. All right, winding up my list of obvious shit is going to be Queensryche Operation Mindcrime 2 from 2006. There's a couple of reasons why this is a shit album. One, it's not even Queensryche album. Most of the shit was done by studio musicians. The producer wrote a bunch of shit with Jeff. The band didn't really want to like re-fucking visit Operation Mindcrime, which is my favorite Queensryche album of all time. So, one, this album's kind of blasphemy because it's like, dude, leave that shit alone, especially because DeGarmo's not in the band. So, dude, Jeff Tate acts like he fucking did everything on fucking Mindcrime. He did not. It has Ronnie Dio on it playing fucking Dr. X. Still has Pamela Moore on it, as Sister Mary, but she died, on the first one. So this is about Nicky, like, after he gets out of jail. I remember when this came out, and I hated it from the minute it came out, but I still bought it because I was like, what the fuck? Because when you take your favorite album, and then these fuckers decide to, well, they didn't, Jeff Tate did, decide to make part 2 of it, like, all these fucking years later. There's a couple of cool moments on it, but overall, like, I fucking hate this album. It's like, first of all, nobody was sitting around waiting for it. I wasn't. And then you just listen to it, it goes, yeah. I mean, there's, like I said, there's a couple of cool spots on it, but it's fucking garbage. All right, let's get into the fucking not so obvious fucking albums that I fucking hate or often wonder why like people like fucking like these albums. Number one, or no, I'm not gonna number them. Quiet Riot's Metal Health from 1983. I can remember when this album came out. And I already had, like, utter disdain for fucking Kevin DuBrow and Quiet Riot because I was a huge Randy Rhoads fan, and I had already discovered, like, the Randy Rhoads years of Quiet Riot, which Randy was embarrassed by. And a lot of people, like, think, like, oh, no, those 2 albums that Randy and Quiet Riot came out with in Japan and in the 70s, he was not proud of those albums. He was embarrassed by those albums. And there's a reason why, because they were not good. Quiet Riot was this band that just wasn't good. They played the fuck out of the Sunset Strip. They were trying to get a record label, but unfortunately, like, Randy needed Ozzy. He needed Bob Daisley. He needed to get away from that because, he was friends with these guys and it just became kind of a complacency, perhaps, and then just kind of like maybe he was a little blinded by, but like, dude, if you go listen to those early Quiet Riot songs, I mean, you can hear some of the stuff that he did with Ozzy in them. There's some solos that are straight on the Blizzard of Oz album, but they were not a good band. They were like this mixture of like poppy, glammy rock with like they were not a metal band, they were not a rock band, they were anyway, so Quiet Riot with Kevin DuBrow and Carlos Cavazzo, Rudy Sarzo, and fucking Frankie Banali, even though I think Chuck Wright was supposed to play on this, I'm not sure, but this is Rudy left fucking Ozzy and was like, get me the fuck. I think he was even recording some of this album in secret while he was still in Ozzy because he fucking hated Ozzy. He wanted to get the fuck out of there because Randy was gone and Randy was just like his lifeline. This album went number 1. It was the first metal album to go number 1. It's not good. And I can remember as a kid, anybody that loved fucking Quiet Riot, well, Quiet Riot was always that bubblegum band for me because they were a bubblegum band. Even back when Randy was in the band, they were this bubblegum, goofy band. Look at the fucking album cover of fucking Quiet Riot 2 where they're all in the fucking locker room with the guys getting dressed to go play high school football. Like, it's just mind blowing. This has two good songs. It has Mental Health on it, and it has Come On Feel the Noise. Come On Feel the Noise we know is a Slade song. Other than that, this album is bullshit. It's fucking lame. What they do, Thunderbird, that was the, fucking song where Kevin DuBrow was like, embracing Randy. Kevin DuBrow was embracing Randy because Randy was dead and he couldn't kind of go, oh, I'm not that close to fucking Kevin DuBrow. Kevin DuBrow kind of name dropped Randy as much as he could. He painted a picture of Randy on the back of his guitar. Like, dude, Randy bailed the minute he got in with Ozzy. He fucking peaced out. It's fun to go back, and even with the Ozzy stuff, they can sit there and say how, they got along so well with Randy. No, they didn't. Towards the end, Randy wanted the fuck out of Ozzy's band, because Ozzy was a fucking boozer and he was an asshole. Same with Quiet Riot. They did Slick Black Cadillac from the old Quiet Riot days. This album's not good. I fucking hate this album. But when we were kids, any kid that was walking around with a Quiet Riot shirt, we would have been like, poser. Anyways, the next album, and I don't know, this album really didn't do anything, but it's funny how people kind of act like this is a good album. And I'm going to go 1990, and I'm going to go Lynch Mob. Yep, gonna go Lynch Mob. Wicked Sensation. George Lynch leaves Dawkins. Not that anybody cared. Oh my god. If I could fucking find it. This thing's being fucking stupid. I see people praise this fucking album. I know my friend George. He loved this fucking album. I didn't buy this album until a while ago. They remastered it and it was cheap. So I was like, eh. The opening song, Wicked Sensation, it's an okay song. It just sounds like a Dawkins song with this waily singer on it. The rest of the album is so forgettable. It's fucking boring as shit. Do what? Street Fighting Man from the Stones. How courageous. This is George Lynch sounding like Dawkins. This whiny, waily singer. This isn't a good album. I don't know why people freak out over this album. I cannot get into this album. I just put it on and I go, whatever. Moving on. Here's my David Bowie pick. Ooh. I fucking love David Bowie. I'll just preface that right now with I love David Bowie. I don't love everything about David Bowie, and I'm not one of those people that's so blindly allegiant. Maybe when I was a kid, where you'd be blindly allegiant to Ozzy. When I was a kid, I was blindly allegiant to Ozzy. He could do no wrong. David Bowie, I love a lot of his stuff, but there's some of his stuff that I'm just like, So not too long ago, I was talking with my buddy Jeremy. Shout out to Jeremy. And we are lovers of music. Jeremy listens to a lot of different stuff than I do, so we kind of always talk about different stuff. He loves the Stones. He loves the Doors. He loves Bowie. And we came up on this album from 1980 called Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, right? And I remember I don't really fucking like that album. And Jeremy was like, really? No, dude, it's super cool. And I go, take a minute or however long it is and go re-listen to that and tell me why you think that's a good fucking album. Because It literally has 2 good songs on it. It has Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, and it has Ashes to Ashes. Those are like the 2 good songs. The rest of it, I mean, it opens up with It's No Game, where it's all fucking weird and it sounds like the guitar's melting. And then it has this chick just singing or speaking fucking Japanese for like fucking however many minutes the song is. Up the Hill Backwards, that's what this album feels like. Fashion, it's like, we'll do Fame and then we'll do Fashion. Song sucks. Teenage Wildlife, Scream Like a Baby. This is not a good fucking album. People embraced it because Bowie was like dressing up like a fucking Harlequin, like a clown. And then it was funny because a little later on, Jeremy got back to me. He goes, "Yeah, dude, this isn't a good album." And I said, "I told you." Like, I think people nostalgically look at some albums and go, "Oh yeah, that was a good album." And I do the same thing every once in a while, but then I'll actually go in and dig into them. I dug into this fucking album and I was like, this is Bowie going into the 80s, and you're just like mystified, dude. But like I said, those 2 songs are decent, but the rest of it's like fucking garbage. Oh, I'm gonna go Saxon. What year was that? 1985. Up to this point, I pretty much loved all the Saxon albums, and this was the first one that I got that I was like, it's called Innocence Is No Excuse. It's got that girl on the cover and she's biting the apple, and it's got the Saxon logo on it. She's kind of cute. She looks like a, one of those waif models. This album is like Saxon going through the fucking, just fucking paint by numbers album. Rockin' Again. I mean, Rock and Roll Gypsy's a cool song, and Broken Heroes is a cool song, but everything else on here is so just formulaic and bullshit. It's like that one Saxon album where I'm just like, but as a kid, I remember that cover, and so I would look at it and go, oh yeah, it's a good album, but then it's really not. It's about up there with Misdemeanor from fucking UFO. This one probably should have made the obvious list. I'm going to go 2010 Scream from Ozzy. I was watching a fucking reviewer the other day, and he actually placed this album kind of high because it has Gus G on it. And he was saying all this fucking shit about it. And that's what's fun about these ranking shows is sometimes somebody talks about an album, and it does make you kind of go back and look. And this guy was really praising this fucking album. And, for a second in my head, I was like, because when I did my Ozzy ranking, I actually ranked this the very last album, even above Ordinary Man, which you could say is fighting for terrible albums. Those 2 are fighting for each other. Except, like, Ordinary Man actually had a couple more songs that I actually liked. But it's fucking garbage. So there's garbage and then there's total fucking garbage. This album, like I said, it probably should have been on the obvious list. I fucking hate this album. It's fucking this tired ass old Ozzy with computer generated voice with Gus G trying to be Randy and trying to be Zach somewhere in the middle. Fucking songs like the title track, Let Me Hear You Scream, Soul Sucker, Digging Me Down, Latimer's Mercy. Let's have, first of all, Ozzy doesn't write any lyrics, so I don't even know how much of this album is his. That's the fucked up thing about, like, once Zach left and once Bob Daisley left, Bob Daisley used to write all the fucking lyrics. You have no idea who the fuck's writing these fucking lyrics. It ain't fucking Ozzy. So, like, by this point, what, Kevin Churko's fucking writing the lyrics? Probably. Basically, by this point, Ozzy's just singing whatever the fuck's handed to him. And then they run it through 800 different fucking machines to make it sound decent. This album is fucking awful. Like, man, I watched this show and I went, oh, fuck, maybe what was I thinking? And I went and listened to it. No, fuck no. Fucking this album just starts sucking the life out of me. Like fucking 5 tracks in, I'm just like starting to fucking pass out. That's how shitty it is. Fucking hate that album. Let's go back to back fucking Ozzy albums, yeah. Why not? Oh, this is the holy grail of. This probably should have been on the obvious list too, but 1976. There's a little band called Black Sabbath, and they were coked out of their motherfucking minds, and they were recording this album in the same studio where fucking the Eagles were doing a bunch of blow and recording Hotel California. Technical Ecstasy. This is like, for me, the Blarney Stone of shitty albums for Black Sabbath. A lot of people put fucking Forbidden above this, of course, because Forbidden's a fucking train wreck. But out of the original Ozzy shit, I think I ranked this, out of the entire Black Sabbath discography, I think I rated this the next shittiest album. So they just remastered this and put it in this big box set with a little book and some cool, whatever, trinkets. It's probably Ozzy going, I don't remember Technical Ecstasy at all. I was doing too much blow. This got a new treatment because Sharon Osbourne needs another fucking Gucci purse or some shit. I don't know. But a lot of people like come out and they're like, I love that fucking album. Hey, cool, man. If you love fucking Technical Ecstasy, Fight the Power. I fucking hate this album. It's fucking terrible. The songs are terrible. It's just garbage. The production's god awful. Even the Steven Wilson mix, like Backstreet Kids, You Won't Change Me, It's Alright, which is Bill Ward singing. Let's get Bill Ward. That should have been alarm bells ringing right there. As soon as Bill Ward started singing on Sabbath albums, you knew the end was nigh. And it was. Wow. This is a fucking piece of shit album. Never Say Die, I like it better because it actually has about 4 songs on it that are actually good or kind of good. Johnny Blade, Junior's Eyes. The fucking title track is a fucking Black Sabbath staple fucking song. This album, the only song that I like is All Moving Parts Stand Still. And the rest of this is fucking garbage. So, Technical Ecstasy. All right. The next one I'm going to go to, it's kind of obscure for people that are probably not into this kind of music, but I don't care. There was a little Japanese band when I was a kid. And they opened for Motley Crue on the, Theater Paid Tour. And they were called Loudness. Loudness! We all know who Loudness is, right? Saw Akira Takasaki play at the NAMP show not too long ago, a couple years ago. He was fucking still awesome. He's fucking great. Loudness. Loudness came out with Thunder in the East, and it was kind of a hit here in America. And then they came out with, Lightning Strikes? Yeah. And that one was, I listened to the fuck out of that album. 86, Let It Go, Ashes in the Sky, Rockstar Oblivion. There was one fucking Loudness album that I fucking never really listened to. I mean, I love the early shit that was all in Japanese. Birthday Eve, Rock Soldier, Devil Soldier, The Law, Devil's Land, Disillusion. Those albums were phenomenal. They came to America, they kind of hit it with, Thunder in the East, with Rock and Roll Crazy Nights. I saw them play with Motley Crue, and then I saw them play on their own. Actually, I think even before Motley Crue, in a little theater, and they were fucking amazing. But they came out with this album in 1987 called Hurricane Eyes, and like I said, it was one of the fucking Loudness albums that I didn't know. Now, later on, after Minoru Miyahara left the band, yeah, there were some. We got Mike Becerra or something. Yeah, some of those albums are fucking garbage too. I could go into those. But as far as like the original Loudness is concerned, this album was fucking terrible. I remember I just got this not too long ago because it was cheap, and I was like, oh, I don't have that album. It opens up with SDI, and instantly you could go, wow, the production on this album costs like a nickel. It sounds like shit. And then the rest of it is just weak ass poppy metal fucking rock songs that are so fucking unmemorable that you're just like, wow, Hurricane Eyes. Now it's funny because now I look back and I go, well, no wonder why I didn't fucking own this album. But now I do. Oh, cool. That's Loudness, Hurricane Eyes, 1987. There could probably be a bunch of Aerosmith albums on here that I could fucking make fun of, but the one that just sticks in my craw, the one that just fucking bugs me, is fucking Get a Grip from 1993. Living on the Edge is a great song. The rest of this album, ugh. I mean, I know it was a huge album and they had all those songs Crying and Crazy and all these singles, blah, blah, blah. Dude, Eat the Rich, ugh. This is that album where all the song doctors were still on it and it didn't work. I mean, they sold a bunch of albums, but I fucking hate this album. Fuck, it has that cow udder with the little fucking earring hanging off of it. With the exception of fucking Living on the Edge. I fucking hate that album. Fucking terrible. Ugh. How about let's go Megadeth? Come on, let's do a little Megadeth on here. I was watching one guy and he actually picked what did he pick? He picked The World Needs a Hero. I get it. The Lone Album with Al Pitrelli, you know, let's beat that. But actually I liked a bunch of songs on there, so. And I saw him on that tour, like at a really small theater, and it was really cool. I'm gonna go Super Collider from 2013. Fuck, I hate this album. I got into a fucking argument with Dave Mustaine about this fucking album. Like I did on Twitter. He was being a fucking asshole, but I still love Dave, don't get me wrong. But I asked him, like, dude, what happened to Super Collider? I don't understand. Like, the lyrics on it are garbage. And then he got mad at me. And I was like, well, I'm just fucking asking as a fan and a consumer. I paid for it. It was fucking shit. And he started mocking me, and I thought it was funny. He's like, how's your album doing? Well, how's your album doing, Dave? What did it sell? 10,000 copies? You know, don't act like you're fucking selling millions of albums anymore. You're not. This album went fucking, you know, onyx in Bulgaria. Kingmaker's probably the only saving grace on this album. Like, it's alright. It's kind of formulaic, fucking Megadeth, but the rest of this album, Super Collider, the fucking burn, the fucking lyrics, he's rhyming fire with desire. I think that's where I mostly pissed him off, is I said, dude, you're rhyming fire and desire like fucking Don Dawkins, man. I'm like, dude, are we on fucking Breaking the Chains here? He got a little upset with that. He's all, well, I tried to rhyme fire and lords, but that didn't work. Yeah, Dave. Anyways, Super Glider, I've tried 100 times to get into this fucking album, and I fucking hate it. It's garbage. Built for war. What do you think your fists are for? Ugh. Terrible fucking album. Musically, it's fucking pretty good, but lyrically, it's fucking garbage, and I don't like it. So, here's one that kind of just popped up on the list. This morning I was kind of going around, kind of rounding out my list, and I was like, and I saw, like, I don't know, Eddie Trunk's always talking about Ace Frehley because, you know, he signed Ace Frehley to fucking Megaforce Records. And that's the funny thing, too. If you ever watch my shows, I can never remember Megaforce Records. I always fucking remember Metal Blade Records. Eddie Trunk worked for Megaforce, which was Johnny Z up in Jersey, not Metal Blade, which was out here in LA, I think it was. That was Eddie Trunk's first big deal, was signing Ace Frehley to fucking Megaforce Records. But I know a lot of people like there not a lot, but there's a following of Ace Frehley fans, and I have all of Ace's shit up to. I don't think I got the last two albums. I didn't get Origins Part 2, and I don't think I got the Spaceman one, but I have everything else. But see, I was never a hardcore Kiss fan when I was a kid, because Kiss, I was fucking like 7 when these fuckers were like huge. So I never really got into Kiss till later on. So I've never been this huge fucking Ace Frehley fan. I like old Kiss, and I don't mind. Ace lives here. He lives fucking down the road here from me in fucking La Jolla. So it's, But I guess there's these people that were just such huge Kiss fans, and then they're just like diehard fucking, like Eddie Trunk. He was a huge Kiss fan, and then he signed Ace to fucking Megaforce, which I'm sure wasn't very lucrative, but whatever. Anyways, the album I'm talking about is Frehley's Comet from 1987. Now you got to remember, Ace left Kiss in '82. So this is 5 fucking years later. This album was recorded between 84 and 87, so like 3 years. And it's got Rock Soldier on it, and it's got Into the Night. All the songs that Ace does, like, they sound like Rock Soldier. Where he sounds kind of confused. The part where he's all, and the devil, you're not gonna have an ace in your deck. I get to the song, We Got Your Rock, and I'm just mystified. I'm mystified why people think this is an awesome album, because the one thing is like, between him and the other guy, like singing every other fucking song, that's fucking annoying. It's like, Ace, either sing on the fucking album or don't sing on the fucking album, but you got this guy and then you got that guy, but then when you get to We Got Your Rock, listen to the lyrics of that fucking song. Ace acts like he's this mega star, and you're lucky that he's there to blow you out of your seats. Does he have like an incendiary device or something? Oh yeah, he does, in his guitar. Ace has never done anything to blow me the fuck away. I mean, I understand the relevance of Ace Frehley. I understand all these guitar players that love Ace Frehley. The guitar solo from fucking Kiss Alive. But Frehley's Comet, dude, listen to that song. It's so fucking dumb you want to punch Ace in his fucking throat, because he acts like he's this fucking awesome person. And you're like, how many albums did that sell, dude? How many albums has any of your albums sold? None. Exactly. This album didn't even go gold. Okay? Eddie Trunk loves it, though. He said this was one of the albums that changed his life. Okay. Next up, Alice Cooper. And there's a couple of Alice Cooper albums you could probably say, like, ugh. You could go into his blackout period and pick Flush the Fashion or fucking Dada. I like Dada, actually. Or fucking Zipper Catch the Skin. But for me, it's fucking Trash from 1989. I fucking hate that album. I mean, it has Poison and Spark in the Dark. Bed of Nails. This album, like, it's just, let's try and repackage Alice and see if we can make him into a star again. It's got fucking Aerosmith on it. They're on Only My Heart Talking, which I fucking hate. This album is just like a formulaic, MTV-driven bullshit fucking song doctor fucking album. Like I said, I don't mind Poison if it's on like a greatest hits, and I'm like, but I don't go, oh fuck, dude, I gotta listen to Poison right now. This fucking album is not, dude. Raise Your Fist to Rock fucking buries this fucking album. Like when Alice first came back out with like Constrictor and then Raise Your Fist to Rock, like at least he was being kind of honest. And then he got to this album. This is where they were like sprucing him up, trying to like make him like Aerosmith, like resuscitate him, bring him back from the dead, make him this huge star, which didn't really work, but it just doesn't feel honest, and I don't fucking like that album. I think it's dumb. Oh, there's a couple of David Lee Roth albums that I could talk about. But I'm going to pick the one with John 5 on it, or John Lowry, as he is known. There was an album called the Dlr Band, and it came out in 98. And I remember for a lot of years that was like the only David Lee Roth album that I didn't really own. And then I picked it up in the cheap shit bin for a fucking nickel. I think they actually paid me to take it the fuck out of there. It's got Betty Page on the cover. It's got that cheesy cover that looked like literally somebody just cut and pasted a picture of Betty Page on it with some shitty fucking hand-drawn American flag on it. I remember getting this album, and I had no idea that John 5 was on it. And I don't think he had an idea that he was on it. And he plays bass on like every song under like some pseudonym or something. It's funny. What was he? It's like Baron Von something. It's fucking hilarious. Well, here it is. What is his name on here? It's totally funny. Oh, Bourbon Bob. Bourbon Bob is actually John 5, and he plays bass on like every song except for the song number 4, which was Terry Gilgore's song called Lose the Dress, Keep the Shoes. And some people could say, you could say the Diamond Dave album in 2003, but that was mostly just cover tunes, so I'm not really going to include that one. And a lot of people could say Your Filthy Little Mouth from 94 with fucking Nile Rodgers fucking doing fucking David Lee Roth. That could actually definitely be in there. Or doesn't he do Cheating Heart Cafe? Doesn't he do a song with like fucking some country dude on there? But this album should have been good because it had John Lowry on it. It had fucking John 5 on it. And this is one of 2 albums on my list with John 5 that it was like, what a waste of his talent. This album, first of all, it costs like a nickel to produce, so it sounds like shit. It's just all over the place. The lyrics are dumb. Dave sounds awful on this album. And, with the lack of production money is probably why, because obviously Eat 'em and Smile and A Little Ain't Enough and Skyscraper and maybe even Your Filthy Little Mouth. There was a budget there. There was no budget for this unless Dave was footing the bill, and I don't think he was. There's nothing good on here. Little Texas, Blacklight. Wow, was that? Wow, was that? This is just like Dave, old Dave with some young kid. Mostly, John 5 played on almost every song. He played bass on every song as Bourbon Bob. This album is totally forgettable. I remember, there's certain things that you try to love, and you're like, oh, I'm going to love it. Oh, no. It's fucking awful. David Lee Roth Band from 1998. Oh, yeah. All right, let's go Deep Purple here. What about Slaves and Masters from 1990? The fucking Deep Purple album with Joe Lynn Turner singing. Yeah, crickets. The Cut Runs Deep is a cool song. The biggest thing, and a lot of people could say, Come Taste the Band from 75 as well. Was that Deep Purple? It didn't have Richie Blackmore in it, and it didn't have fucking Ian Gillan in it. So it had David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes and Tommy Bolin. I'm not saying it's a bad album, but it certainly wasn't a fucking Deep Purple album. But this album, fuck, man. Oh, fucking Ian's out. He'll be back, though, for The Battle Rages On. Y'all fucking hate each other. But, hey, Richie's just like, oh, let me give Joe and Turner a call. He'll come in and record this fucking album first. Joe and Turner does not belong in fucking Deep Purple. He does it. I don't like this fucking album. To me, I put it on, I'm just like, what the fuck am I listening to? Am I listening to fucking Rainbow or am I listening to fucking Deep Purple? Like, yeah, fuck that album. Not awesome. We're almost to the end. I'm gonna go Rush, and I'm gonna go Snakes and Arrows from 2008. Rush is like probably one of, if not my favorite band of all time. I fucking love Rush. But there's a couple of fucking albums, even Clockwork Angels, their last album, that just never fucking stuck with me. Snakes and Arrows is that one album. It just never fucking. It's a fucking Rush album, so musically it's fucking Rush. But there's no hooks on this album. It's just. I mean, it's got Far Cry. That's like the one standout, the opening song. And then after that, it's just like. It's like that dial tone you used to get when you're, back when you had real phones. I wanted to love it, but I think there was a point in Rush where I was just like, it was just so ponderous to fucking that and the last album. It's like, dude, I've given those albums a shot. I've listened to them through like a bunch of times, but just like nothing. There's maybe one song on there that just like, Far Cry. Other than that, I couldn't hum one of those fucking songs. I couldn't sing one of those fucking songs. The Larger Bowl, Malignant Narcissism. Like, I'm going to fucking sing that song to you. Yeah. Not really impressed with that album. So that's my Rush pick. Some people might fucking love that fucking album. Some people might be like, oh my god, I love that album. Okay, cool, man. I love Rush. I fucking love Rush. But that album did nothing for me. Let's go 2016 Rob Zombie, The Electric Warlock, Acid Witch, Satanic Orgy Celebration Dispenser. The thing with Rob Zombie is like, I usually just put Rob on when I want to just like listen to something aggressive and kind of groovy. Put on Hellbilly Deluxe, or I'll even put on fucking Sinister Urge. I don't mind it. Fucking Educated Horses. That album the other day, I was just like going through and I clicked on it and I fucking listened to it all the way through, and fucking Educated Horses is really fucking good, man. Had some really great stuff on it. American Witch, fucking The Scorpion Sleeps. Fuck, the second part of that album is all fucking good. Not too long ago, I got, what did I get? I got the Venomous Rat Regeneration Vendor. And that was, I think, the album before this one. And it was alright. Right, Sinister Urge, was that the first album with John 5? I think it was. And that was a great album. That had some really fucking cool shit on it. But you get to this shit and you're just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, first of all, the fucking name of the album, there's a like Spinal Tap said, there's a thin line between clever and stupid, and that's stupid. The title of the album is fucking stupid. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Second of all, there's more voiceovers and bullshit on this album than there is John 5, really. And then the rest of it, the production's shitty. Rob's fucking vocals have been run through like 18 mixing machines to where it's like, he's lost focus. Well, everybody fucking in a UFO is okay, and then there's a little fucking tiny blurb, acoustic blurb called A Hearse That Overturned with the Coffin Bursting Open. Other than that, maybe In the Bone Pile. This album is dumb. I started listening to it and I got dumber by the second. Rob Zombie's like cool sometimes to put on. Sometimes, it's white trash bullshit, shock rock, fucking old horror movies and bullshit. But at the same time, fuck, man, have a standard. And this isn't the standard. What a waste of a John 5 album. Just like that David Lee Roth album. What a waste of John 5. He's a great player, but yeah. All right, we're almost done. This is an album that just came out, actually. I'm going to go Yngwie J. Malmsteen, and there's a brand new album out. It's called Parabellum, and it is fucking garbage. Ooh, the production on this is, first of all, it's all done by Yngwie. I don't think anybody even came near him while he was making this album. I call it Pandemica because it's just Yngwie hidden away in his studio in Miami in his house, in his basement, making this fucking album. It's fucking terrible. Fight the Good Fight. I mean, some of the instrumentals are alright, but it's fucking terrible. It's like, it's on this really tiny label, so I think his mom put it out for him or something. Unless his mom's dead, and then that's kind of fucked up. But I remember I got it, and I was like, well, I didn't know what I was thinking. I was a fucking Yngwie album. Like Blue Lightning, which was a bunch of covers that he did on the last album, was not good. And this, wow. The production is, he didn't even give a fuck about the production. The backing band, which is not a band, it's Yngwie, playing bass. He plays the bass line for fucking Black Star about 100 times on this album. The drums machine that he programs is just like, and that all sounds like just noise and shit. There's some keyboards and shit. This all sounds like noise. And then Yngwie's guitar is like way up front, nice and polished, so you can hear every note. But even then, on some of that, when you listen to him playing like acoustically on here, it's all clicky and yeah, it's not good. Yngwie, Parabellum from 2021. I got two left. One of them should have been on the obvious album. We'll go over that one first. Slayer, Undisputed Attitude. I'm not a huge fucking Slayer fan. But Slayer came out when I was a kid, one of the big four. I think we met them at like Blue Meanie Records. They drove up in a fucking beat up VW bus with a bunch of ugly chicks. I remember that. They're all they smelled bad. That was back in the day, man. That was like hella weights and shit, But over the years, there's songs that I like, I got all their fucking albums. I don't mind Slayer. Slayer's is kind of one of those bands where I put on if I just want, kind of like with Rob Zombie, just want some darkness in my life. And then I put something else on afterwards to cleanse my soul. But this album, fuck, dude, what year did it come out? Was it 96? This album is just a fucking cover album with a bunch of fucking punk songs. I don't usually like putting cover albums on shit. It does have 2 original songs on it. God, this album is fucking irritating. It's like, 1, it's Slayer, and then 2, let's do a bunch of punk songs. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. A lot of people put this on the list, so it probably should have been on the obvious list. Yeah, it was 96. Ugh. I'm Gonna Be Your God and Gemini, right, are the 2 original songs, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Or is it Can't Stand You? No, I think it's Can't Stand You. What a noisy, just fucking, ugh. I never put this album on. It's fucking like, I'd rather get like my fucking arm cut off in a fucking tree mulching machine than listen to this fucking album. So, yeah. I'd rather put on Saint Anger. Fuck. The last album, my terrible albums that I'm just like, wow. I'm going to go Pink Floyd. And I'm going to go The Division Bell. Yeah. The Division. I just listened to this not too long ago, like it was a little while ago. And I swear to God, just the opening track, the instrumental, just does nothing. It's just boring as fuck. It's just like. Is it Cluster One for 557? Just like, this album goes nowhere. It's boring as shit. It doesn't have Roger Waters on it. Hello. People need to understand Roger Waters was a big part of fucking Pink Floyd. And I know there's people out there that love fucking David Gilmour. I get it. I don't, but I get it. I think he's. I get it though. I understand it, but I don't agree with it. I think he's boring as shit. But wow, this album. You're like, dude, I'm listening to the opening track and I'm just like, is there any fucking redeeming quality to this fucking music? It just sounds like. It's like somebody walking across a gravel parking lot and then it just like goes into this. I mean, it's cool to put on if you're an insomniac and you need fucking sleep. This will knock you the fuck out. Pink Floyd, fucking the Division Bell from '94. That was the other thing too. Is like, dude, after Roger Waters left, what the fuck did they do? They did like 2 fucking albums and like a live album. They didn't even do anything. I was like, David Gilmour's like, so, I don't like Roger Waters, but at the same time, you're like, well, what did you do beyond him? Nothing, really. Yeah, this album, Pink Floyd had fallen. And yeah, if you want to go to sleep, pop that album on. There's my list of fucking albums that I don't like for one reason or another. Don't forget to put comments. Don't forget to fucking subscribe. Don't forget to fucking tell me I'm totally fucking insane. I don't care. Everybody stay metal and enjoy your day. Go listen to Come On, Feel the Noise.